Hi, everyone. Today we're doing a special session, a live session with Felicia. Welcome, Felicia.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So today we thought of talking about this phase in the transitioning that I feel like every humanitarian goes through, which is keep waiting for something to happen or keep waiting for answers from other people, keep searching for answers, which we're calling it "no one is coming to save you" stage. And I definitely went through it, and I think even if I were to quantify, it would be about 8 months to a year. I think I was so much in that stage of keep asking for information, advice, and just feeling so confused and not knowing what to do and how to move forward, right? So that's why I thought I bring Felicia, who is one of my amazing clients, to talk about this specific topic as to how different people go through this stage and how they recognize and then how they have also got themselves out of this stage, so that whoever who's listening and watching can recognize that you might be in that stage and you might also need to do something about it without just feeling like you don't know where to go and how to go. So, Felicia, maybe before we dive in, let's introduce you and then get you sharing your experience of how this stage was for you and how you were able to get out of it.
Yeah, sure. So thanks so much for having me on one of your lives. I've watched many of them, and they're always great. And I've really
Oh,
enjoyed the time working with you, first of all, but also thank you
thank
for this
you.
opportunity. So yeah, I worked for UNHCR for the last 10 years. I
Mhm.
separated 2 weeks ago on the 31st of December. So I'm in week two of a new life. And
Mhm.
before that, I was also living overseas for 5 years before that. So I'm originally from Chicago, but I've been overseas for the last 15 years or so.
Mhm.
Um, and it was always my dream to work for UNHCR, and specifically with the title protection officer. So
Mhm.
the 5 years before I was in UNHCR, I was, all of my career steps were trying to get into UNHCR. It was, the biggest dream. And then when I achieved that goal, I kind of was like, now what? Like I wasn't sure like what to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I had great experiences working in Kenya and Lebanon, and I'm currently in Poland, where I
Mhm.
finished my time with UNHCR. Um, but I would say, that sort of not knowing what to do and asking other people for advice, it really hit when I found out that our office was going to close in at the
Mm.
very end of March 2025. But if I'm honest with myself, it was a couple years before that.
Mm.
Kind of the novelty of the position had worn off a bit, and I was, still happy with my work and making meaningful difference. But I did have that itch of, okay, what's next? What's next? Um, and I didn't know where to turn. I was asking all sorts of people, but I wasn't doing anything, and I was just talking about it.
Yes, exactly. I think that's Felicia is a great topic for us maybe to hold on to talk about is that I have heard this many times from humanitarians who say that I've been thinking about it, but now the crisis accelerated it in some way or revealed things in some way, right? Or made us maybe forced to look at honestly what is it that we're wanting now moving forward? Because I think, especially, this is true for a lot of people like myself as well, who came to the dream, who experienced the dream, right? And like we all wanted to come to a certain level of dream, and then we arrived at the dream, and then feeling like, okay, now what, right? Where do we go from here? And if we keep going this way, then where does it take us versus going and pursuing another dream? And then, of course, there is also this phase of, okay, I don't think it's going to work. Who am I kidding? And all of these type of things, right? Which I think is also very normal. Um, but I think that the key point here, like for you to recognize anyone who's watching us, would be like keep thinking about it, keep talking about it, but never making a decision, right? And never really taking substantial actions towards it, but rather keep believing like, I don't know, someone is going to come over and tell what to do kind of an energy. At least this was for me, right? I
Yep.
remember telling myself like someone tell me what to do,
Yep.
as if like there is an authority figure that who comes over and says a sound now that you've achieved your dream, here is the next steps of how to do it kind of thing, right?
Yep. And it was almost like if I find the right person to tell
Yes.
what I've told to, 57 other people, that person will give me the answer. So I just need to keep talking to as many people, saying the same
Yes.
over and over and over and over again. And then that person will tell me the answer, but I got to find them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never did.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I think like the point that you reach at some point to recognize that even if you did find that person and that they told you what to do, you would still need to make the decision.
Oh,
And I
absolutely.
think that part is a bit like stings, right? Because in the end, like, okay, I'm still accountable to my own life. I still need to make decisions about my life. So it is in the end still up to you, kind of a realization.
Yeah. And I think that that's really the key thing, because when I found out about the office closure for
Hmm.
April, it was really difficult emotionally
Yeah.
and everything. Um, and then it did really just click in my head one day, and I was like, okay, no one's coming to save me. I cannot expect anyone to get me out of this, to
Yeah.
fix my emotions, to fix
Hmm.
my future, anything. People can provide guidance and support,
Yeah.
certainly, but they're not going to be able to do the work. They're not going to be able to identify my values, identify my goals,
Yeah.
and actually take the steps needed to that. And it's interesting what you just said, because I did have a friend, like 2 or 3 years ago, I was complaining about something, and she just said to me, Felicia, then change it. And I was like,
Hmm.
no, impossible, cannot do it. Impossible. And at the time, I wasn't ready to hear that. I wasn't in a headspace that
Yeah.
I could actually think that, what, I am the only person that can change my feelings,
Hmm.
can change my future. No one else can do that for me. It's me.
Yes,
And I
exactly.
just
I
think that
think
if I had, taken her advice back then, where I would be now. But, all things happen for a reason.
absolutely. I was just thinking that, sometimes I feel, wouldn't it be great to tell someone, can you please feel these feelings for me and then come back when you've like processed and, cleaned up, and then now I can feel all the great things. But I think another sign that you need to watch out for is when you are so adamant with certain emotional state and you're not willing to come out of it, right?
Mhm.
Even though like even maybe your friends can see that you are still in this loop and you can't get out. And this is also, I think, another good sign. Like one sign, as we said, is keep searching for answers and keep wanting to find that one person who gives you the answer, let's say, right? And another one is being in that emotional loop the whole time and believing that, I don't know, you need to find the perfect answer. You need to have the perfect feeling, or you need to have like this feeling of ready and confident, and now is the time, and everything is aligning, right?
Yeah.
That I think does not happen.
Yeah. And I think there's something that's deeply human about, looking for external resources, because we
Hmm.
all we all ask for help. We always ask
Yeah.
for guidance and support from peers, from
Hmm.
managers, from parents, religious institutions. Um, and I think the very last person that many of us realize to ask is ourself. Is
Yes.
in touch with ourselves. And when I look back at, when I was in the throes of the despair of not knowing what to do, it all
Mm.
came from me not having a direction. I didn't know where I wanted to go. I had no idea what I would do outside of UNHCR. I
Yeah.
was very unclear about my values and how to prioritize my values and what was the most important.
Hmm.
I was lacking in self-love and full of doubt. And, it was really difficult to sort of get through that.
Yeah.
Um, but once I realized that to sort all of that I have to do. Like, I can't delegate that. ChatGPT isn't going to
Yeah.
do anything for me about that. That all
Yes.
that transformation has to come from
Yeah.
within. And the very first thing I did was kind of finally come to terms and take accountability for that, this
Mm,
is on me. If I'm feeling like garbage, if I don't know what to do next, that's me. I need to sort that out. And then, the next thing I did was hire a coach. So thank
aw,
you, Axel.
absolutely. I love it, Felicia. I think that's also a good realization that okay, it's on me, right? I am the one who needs to do this. And I think I just want to caution people also that I think sometimes we go to the other extreme, which is we then start blaming ourselves and,
Mm,
all the like things of the past. And we keep saying things like, I should have done this and that. Now I didn't, right? And also don't do that to yourself because that will keep you more in the emotional loop that you don't want to be staying in, right? So that's why once you recognize that you are ready to take responsibility, accountability for this is my work and I need to be doing this, then absolutely hiring a coach is an amazing way. I've always done that. But also, beside hiring the coach, knowing that the number one skill to learn probably is now being so good at relying on yourself, right?
mhm.
As much as we did for other people. Like whenever I ask people, they always tell me I'm great at being trusting partner for other people, right? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know, everyone can count on me. Everyone can, like, if I'm the greatest professional, if they come to me and I can do all the things. But when it comes to our own dreams and goals, especially personal ones, we are not really trained or practiced enough, right? So that's
yeah,
why the next would be then, okay, now I need to get to really learn how to rely on myself and start doing this work to get to that level.
yeah.
Amazing, Felicia. So you did
And
that, and then how was it? Mhm.
sorry, what was it?
And you did that. You recognize that you want to now be accountable to all the things you want to do, to the transformations and everything. You hired a coach, and how was that journey after?
Yeah, I mean, so I took a lot of steps kind of quickly, um, hiring a coach, and then I decided to pursue coaching as my next career path. And I had actually
Mhm.
done a coaching course back in 2021, and I was really
Mhm.
interested in coaching then, and had
Mhm.
thought about leaving UNHCR to set up my own coaching business, but for a variety of reasons, I didn't. So I
Yeah.
had kind of already had a little bit of an idea of what perhaps I'd like to do. So I just kind of
Mhm.
dove in head first, and I enrolled in a a training program through the Coactive Training Institute.
Mhm.
And also, one thing that I did, to your point about not being hard on ourselves for not doing things,
Yeah.
I did practice a lot of self compassion.
Mm.
There's some great resources online with recordings that you can listen to, because I think that is a very important component of any kind of work on ourselves, is still being very kind to yourself throughout the process and not getting down on yourself, like you mentioned.
Mm.
Um, and then, after I started working with you and I was doing the coaching training and really like falling in love with coaching,
Mhm.
um, I actively started letting go of my UNHCR dream. And that wasn't
Mm.
the easiest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But it was small steps that I think really helped me sort of let go of one so that I could pursue another. And it
Mm.
wasn't, and I tried to do it with as much self-compassion as possible, and not being like I failed at UNHCR or anything like that, but no,
Same.
rather that this chapter of my life is closing so that I can start another one.
Yes, I love that. And I think that's also a good point, Felicia, is that a lot of the time when I coach humanitarians and myself including, when we were going through this transitioning process, we had a lot of strong emotions about the past, right? About UNHCR, UN in general. I certainly had a lot of strong emotions about it. And then also notice that in a lot of the conversation, these strong emotions would come out as if without my control and then dominate the conversation in the very negative, right? And then
Mhm.
realizing, oh, I still need to do some work around it because I don't want to be that person who gets like, even though I resigned myself, but still I noticed that this like hatred, anger, a lot of other
Mhm.
emotions, right? Disappointment, I think, is oftentimes. So that might be another way that you may notice when you have a lot of strong emotions towards the employer, or towards the sector as well, right? And you may need to look at those and also learn how to let go of some of them, finish up or complete them so that they don't keep interfering in your current journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And also recognizing that a lot of the work that we've done in UNHCR and other UN agencies and NGOs in development can also carry along its own sort of trauma, whether real trauma or
Mm,
vicarious trauma. And
mm,
that's really important to be aware of as well. So,
yeah,
if people are looking to coaching to solve everything, it might need to be a combination of coaching plus therapy,
yeah,
in order to overcome some of the very real
yeah,
issues that can arrive from, giving so much of
yeah.
yourself in very challenging circumstances for years.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's also, Felicia, we have seen in our own circles of people how that can keep affecting if we don't do that, especially the therapy work as well, right? And of course, I cannot speak for therapy, but I think I have also seen a lot of amazing results from like therapy and coaching combination working together as well. And I think that's certainly for many people, especially I would say who are struggling with being wronged by the system, right?
Yep.
Or who feel like they've dedicated their whole life and then let go or thrown out. These are some of the strong words that people use. And in those cases, I think that might be also a sign to do both if you would like to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Felicia, how is now the journey going? Like 2 weeks is still a very fresh, obviously, period, right? And we will see also how the following months come. But for now, I would say from where I have observed or talked to you is you are very much in the this is what I want to do, and this is what I've been wanting to do for some time, right? I think that's a great attitude to have. And how do you find now life outside of UNHCR?
I I actually never thought life outside of UNHCR was going to be possible, because it was for so long it was my identity, it was my
Mm,
personality, the blue all over my closet. Like, it
yes.
was me. Um and I think because I started slowly letting go of it probably around July is when I started.
Mm,
So by the
yeah.
time, January, December, the end of December hit, like it was still a bit of a gut punch,
Yeah.
but at that point, I had learned to sit, to feel the emotion and then let it
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
So yeah, now 2 weeks out, I'm feeling really good actually. I officially launched my website, FeliciaByrne.com, for coaching.
Amazing.
And I'm really loving coaching. It's a whole different way to engage and to support people.
Hmm.
It's just, and I feel like the same passion that I had in the humanitarian world,
Mm,
I'm bringing into coaching because it's just a new way of supporting people.
yeah.
The one thing that has been really difficult for me is for 15 years, all assistance is free of charge. So that's been a bit of a shock,
Yeah.
that no, I cannot do it
Yes.
for free. But that I think so far has been the biggest adjustment.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
no, I'm loving it.
Amazing. I think that's true for many humanitarians. It's like, I don't know, if we're going into service providing type of roles, then charging for our services, right? Or charging the amount that we want, feeling like we're stealing or doing something wrong or that's not how it should be. I think we all go through that. So I would say that's right on track. So, Felicia, I think I must say that one of the things that I think you've done great that many people maybe had difficulties going through is like recognizing this is what I want to do and bringing that passion to this new thing, right? Because I think if because of a lot of confusion and a lot of I don't know what I'm gonna do and what am I gonna do and this kind of thing, people have difficulty committing and bringing the passion that they once had for the humanitarian
Mm,
work, right? And I think in that case, like if I were to look at different examples of people transitioning, I would say you've done that very well. So well done
Thank you
for
so much.
doing that. And of course, a lot of the challenges that come with starting something new is, I mean, I don't think they're surprising, right? So I feel like also I've tried to talk a lot about challenges of what we go through after transitioning so that people can be prepared. But if we have that passion and that like reinvigorated type of energy, then I feel it's going to be a lot easier to go through those challenges rather than not knowing what we're doing, not knowing where we're going, and on top having to deal with challenges is like a lot harder, I feel. So therefore, well done for having done it. So now, Felicia and I wanted to do some hangout with humanitarians,
Yep.
right? Felicia, would you like to talk about it?
Yep. So we had an idea to sort of have a humanitarian hangout perhaps once a month if this is of interest to many different people. And it'd just be a
Mhm.
virtual space for us to get together, sort of share some experiences, vent a little, laugh a little. No real structured format that we were thinking of right now, but sort of to build a community to
Mhm.
support each other, whether we're still in the system, outside the system, something to make our own.
Exactly. So that's why we've created that space. It is so we are thinking of doing it the first one on 20. Oh my God, I forgot now. Let me,
27th,
what
I
did we
think.
say? 27th, yes. 27th at 7 p.m. Central European time. And we try to make it in a way that for different time zones is possible. And it is absolutely free of charge, obviously, and we'd love to greet you there and just hang out together. It's going to be maybe an hour, hour and a half, depending on how the conversations go. And then once we get to know and get together, if we decide to do something more structured, we can also do that. But I think for now, we'd love to just, I don't know, give each other virtual hugs and know that we're in this together. And I feel like once we're a humanitarian, always will be a humanitarian. I don't know. I never feel like I've left this sector, even though I've left 5 years ago. I still feel like
Absolutely.
part of it, right? I still feel like I'm UNHCR, even though it's been a long time, but I feel that identity still remains and I don't know, support system we'd love to continue. So if you're interested, come and join us and we will give some reminders along the way, and then we hope to see you there. Felicia, any last words before we wrap up?
No, just thank you again for letting me join you on this live, and I'm really excited to continue working with you and to start this new phase of my life.
Amazing. Yes, thank you so much for being here and starting this courageous journey, as many people would say it. When I started, everyone's like, "Oh, you're so courageous." And I think what they really meant was, are you sure you know what you're doing? Kind of.
Right? Right? Or I
Yeah.
could never do that. It's like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
all right.
But I can say that this is the one of the best decisions I've made. So I also feel like Felicia for you is the same. So I'm so happy that you're doing this work. And also you found a way to support other people, which really is, I think, what drove us to the humanitarian sector in the first place, right? So
Absolutely.
therefore, to have this honor to continue doing it is, I think, an amazing step forward. And we'll see each other in the group with others. And we really look forward to catching up and seeing all the humanitarian folks.
Great. Absolutely.
Thank you so much and see you